All praises to the most. Hiya. Yep, now I can do it.
And I'm
Just
having the time of my life.
right, exactly. And in the moment of truth, you know what I'm saying? I'm having the time of my life. You feel what I'm saying?
I like it. I
I,
like it. I
I,
fit in with
yeah,
what I
we
going
should be
on.
able to rock
Self care is about understanding self, and this is a big self thing. This is a big thing about you. So I think this is gonna fit in perfectly with the mission.
that. Right.
The mission is the mission.
Uh-huh. It's been a great week. I ain't been getting a lot of sleep. It's been a great week.
That's some good not getting a lot of sleep.
Right
That's
though.
nah,
Like
I
I
got
feel
nah.
drained. Yeah, I don't feel drained. You know what I'm saying?
That was some good not getting no sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. That sounded like it came from a Disney movie.
You gonna be on Pixar Soul.
Yep. Exactly. They gonna
So,
right.
the Packers are about to get to it. Come on through. Come on through, y'all. Don't play around. Don't play around.
Wasn't even gonna, you know.
You what? Don't mumble. I didn't. You who? You how did it go when you said who now?
I yeah.
Put the hard soul.
Right.
Yeah,
Dude,
don't.
that's smoothie. You making me wanna get back to my ordeal, but I'm talking about look, them smoothies work. I did the 10-day smoothie fast, and that's how I actually had started my weight journey.
Okay.
Like before I actually start, well, like previously, like 2, 3 years ago, I was already like doing my weight journey thing, but I had kind of like fell back off of it, slacked a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But then I was hollering at my guy, at one of TJ football practices, and we was chit chatting about something, and they had put me on the JJ Smith or
Okay.
whatever, and the 10-day smoothie cleanse. And I'm like, what's that? And he like, man, he started telling me about people testimonials about how they lost 15 pounds in like 2 weeks and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? Just because at that point in my life, I wasn't in a position to kind of get back into the gym and get back to doing stuff. So I'm just like, okay, let me give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? So I had grabbed the book and everything, and I turned around and then I did it. You know what I'm saying? I went to the grocery store and everything. I really like disciplined myself and did it. You know what I'm saying? 3 smoothies a day, you know what I'm saying? And she give you like all the like the ingredients and everything, you know what I'm saying? And the breakdown of how to do it. Like, man, listen, I did the whole 2 weeks. The whole little 10 days.
How many
And
pounds?
12.
That's good.
It was good. You know what I'm saying? Because it put me in a comfortable spot. You know what I'm saying? I knew it wasn't like the bulking and stuff with it, but like internally I felt so clean. I felt good. You know what I'm saying? I could see the dimensional change in myself and everything. So yeah, if anybody thinking about it and interested in it, you know what I mean? Reach out to JJ Smith. I know she got like groups on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I know you can find her on Instagram, JJ Smith, literally like that, letter J,
Yeah.
letter J, letter J, Smith, you know what I'm saying? 10-day smoothie cleanse. It'll get you right. Exactly. Sorry.
No, that's good. And I'm not doing the smoothie cleanse or anything. I don't I cut out meat. So for me, this is one of my meals sometimes. Like I just
And it's good.
do a smoothie together and I throw some out, gotta have some avocado in there,
Man,
some
listen,
almond milk.
listen. Did you see how I looked at yours and I was able to like, I know what's in that. I know what's in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, listen. Because not
This
only
is my breakfast.
look, exactly. When you start talking about fitness and health, it's bigger than just working out. You know what I'm saying? And that was another opportunity that I had to like learn something. You know what I'm saying? Learned a little bit more about different fruits, learned something about different vegetables, you know what I'm saying? Kind of learn my body a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's amazing when you start to see the stuff that your body need and don't need, but how your body can survive
Right.
certain things that you man, listen,
Yeah.
it's deep. So
It's
yes,
Sunday. It's
health is
Sunday.
health is wealth. You know what I'm talking about. Health for real, for real. Health is wealth. And I'm so happy the last 5 years of my life. I'm sorry, 5 years of my life. I've been like real serious about like my.
And let people know how many pounds you lost, because you ain't lose like 10 pounds, 22 pounds. It wasn't 37 pounds. Like, how many pounds did you lose?
Well, I was 346 when I originally first kicked it off, like, and that was about 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was 346 pounds. I couldn't.
Big dude.
Right. And I had like went through an ankle injury. I had suffered an injury at the job and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And like my son, I'm looking at my son, he getting into sports and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I gotta get myself together. I can't be out here tripping like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what did it. And from 346 today, as of today, I could say I'm probably about 253 pounds.
Man.
Like
that's good. That's good shedding, dog. And that's hard from that size too.
And the method, it's just the method. I use the day-by-day method. Like I said, that being present in the moment thing. You know what I'm saying? I use the day-by-day method. That's what helped me get there. Like before you know it, you know what I mean? It done been 4 or 5 years. And now this is a habit for me. You know what I mean? Just paying attention to what I eat. You know what I'm saying? And if I do eat something off track, like how like my body, how my mind puts my body in the process to like detox it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Understanding the timeline process it takes to like digest it. But it's so deep, you know what I'm saying? Like for real. But I mess with the health journey. I'm owns that. I'm owns all of that.
Right. You're right. Health is wealth. So however you can be healthy, however you figure it out, whatever combination work for you, man, just be consistent in it and take care of your body.
And drink more water.
Always keep it. Drink water.
Yep.
All right, we're kicking it off. Let's talk about ego.
You ready?
I think I'm ready, sir. Let me get a check. Are we all clear? Sounding good?
Yeah, I want to get the headphones on, but I think I'm gonna be good rocking it like this. I hear you decently.
Put it on to just do the slow run through, so you can hear what you really gonna hear.
That's the thing.
Say a couple things. Oh yeah, you can't. Your head. Why don't you flip them upside down, just so you can hear it for a second? There you go. You look like Terrence.
Microphone. Huh?
You look like TJ, the little one.
You look like me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Why I'm holding my headphones like you holding yours?
That's what I was looking at the whole time. Like, you testing too? Like, I'm lost as a.
So I did put one forward, but I was holding them because you was holding yours. Like, I don't want them to fall off now. Come on, let me get that good spirit going. Them good vibes, some good vibrations.
That's my new way. That's my new way of hitting the record button before we go.
Oh gosh.
Gonna be like, you feel me? So you just let me know when you're ready so I can do my wind up.
Okay. I
am. On what though? Like, bah! Ready?
Like it's
do it.
All right, now come on, I'm with it. Dang, come on, Rogers.
Self-Care Sunday.
Hey, I'm here for the talk. Let's talk about it.
Bounce. Let's do bounce. Self-Care Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
We on
Self-Care Sunday. I am your host, Royalty.
Bounce.
And I'm in here with Classic Talks. And we got a conversation for you today. You understand me? I think I got that.
You knew that.
I got that button. I thought I had the you understand me. You understand? I ain't got the you understand me. How you doing, though? How you doing? Say it again.
You know, I'm here for the talk. Hold on, we gotta tap in. Hey. Look, that's a commercial too.
Yeah, Yeah, no, yeah. Man, listen, it's been a great week. It's been a beautiful week. And it's hard to complain when it's been a beautiful week. You know what I'm saying? You always got to take that time to balance out your pros and your cons.
Yes, sir.
I always preach about balance. You know what I'm saying? I tell people a lot about balance. So you got to understand in life it's a thing called balance. You know what I'm saying? Your life is all about balance. When you got so much good going on, your bad level got to equal out to that good to make balance. You know what I mean? Your scale can't be off. So you can't expect for the ride to always be easy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's how you handle that ride. You feel what I'm saying? Some people get a flat tire and they pull right over to the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? Some people get a flat tire and they slow roll that tire to the tire shop. They make a way. You feel what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. I don't know. The Lord bless. The Lord placed that message on my heart. And I just felt like somebody needed to hear that now. Somebody needed to hear that. But it is Self-Care Sunday.
Self-Care Sunday.
You already know.
Self-Care Sunday.
And today I wanted to talk about ego. Look, I always be trying to take stuff to like a little radio.
You gotta bring it in a little different. It's okay.
Right, it's cool. But it was the behaviors of people this week that I was really paying attention to. Like, and you know, with dealing with some of the studies and stuff that I be doing, with school and everything, it kind of all aligned together. And I had to do a little paper and stuff on abnormal behaviors. And that's what rolled me into the whole psychological aspect of it, where I wanted to speak on ID, ego, and super ego. You know what I'm saying? And making sure that people understood the difference in those and how psychologically they can affect you, you know what I mean, to do some of the abnormal behaviors that you might do, or to do some of the things that put you in better positions. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this stuff is psychological. It's about getting that mind and body on one accord. And a lot of people don't want to get that alignment, you know what I'm saying, and wonder why their life is so shaky, because things not aligned up right. You got to align your life right. You know what I'm saying?
So is there a definition of the three? Like, so when people are listening to this, what's ID, what's ego, what's super ego, or how are we pulling it out where we talk about ego? Let's wrap it up that way.
All right. So when it's actually a difference when you do talk about the three, but the three do correspond with one another. So let's start with ID. That's the impulsive part. That's how you express your sexuality, your aggressive instincts. That's the male or the female. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go against the ID. You know what I'm saying? Your ID is who you are. You know what I mean? Genetically, how you're built. Genetically, how you built, and that's where the ID actually comes in. So, like I said, it's that male and that's that female. So it's what you want, it's what you desire, it's how you respond to it. If you have that alpha instinct, that male instinct, you're a male, hence boy. You know what I mean? Hence female. If you have you kind of work more so off the emotional aspect of things, you know what I'm saying? That's more female. You can't get away from this. So you have to put that into consideration with the behaviors that a person might display as well. And then if you don't really understand it from the aspect of just genetically having the strengths and the battles, like women with pregnancy and like men with having to work, you know what I mean? Like, those are the other things, you know what I mean, that people have to understand that psychologically messes people up. Because as a man, you're forced into believing, well, not forced into believing, but you're forced to understand that you have to.
Programming. You're right. There's some programming for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can talk. We programmed. There are some ways there are some things that make you a man in societal viewpoints. So go for it.
Right. And think about the weight that puts on a person.
Right.
Because if your ID is not actually aligning up with what the world sees on you, think about what that puts on you. People are looking at you saying that, you know what I mean, you're this and you're that because you're not doing what society bases a man to do. You know what I mean? That's where the abnormal behaviors can be showed from the ID point of view. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna act out or I'm displaying abnormal behaviors only because you see that I'm supposed to be doing something a certain way.
Right. I'm with you. Now, what's ego?
When you look at ego, ego is that personality that starts to develop from experiences. It's the desires against the ID. So now you understand and it's established that you are a man. You know what I mean? And this is what you want to do. So now the ego desires different things that a man wants. So at one point in your life, you might want to be that man that's a firefighter. Think about when you're a little kid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then that's when your ID sets in. You know what I mean? Let's go from adolescent point of view. If you're a kid and your ID sets in that I'm a boy, so I should like sports. I should like to run around. I should like to jump off garages and stuff like that. Boom, that's set in stone. So then as a little boy, the first thought that comes out your mind is the things that you look at as like superheroes. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a paramedic. You feel what I'm saying? That's your ego. That's the ego of that boy talking. You know what I'm saying? Because now they're starting to understand that I like to help people. Nope. I like to fight against the bad people. Nope. I like to, you know what I'm saying, help people in a time of danger. Nope. I want to be able to talk and get people out of situation. You know what I'm saying? You start as an adolescent, you start to see that this is what kicks in. That's that ego. But then as you grow and you change in life, look at how your ego changes the things that you want to do. If everybody could sit down and think back to when they were young, and you told somebody what it is that you wanted to be, are you that now? That all has to do with your ego. That ego, you know what I mean, fighting off of desire, because you're always going to desire differently. Excuse me. You're always going to desire differently throughout life.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's where you look at where when you're talking about ego.
Okay.
But then you roll into super ego. And super ego is what the society expects of that ego. So now that's another battle within yourself, because now you choose to carry out the ego of want to be a rapper. So you want to be flashy, you want the money, you want the cars, you want the fame, you want the girls. You feel what I mean? That's the ego's desire.
Right.
But then the super ego's desire is for the validation of do these people see me as that person?
Okay.
And if they don't see me as that person, they don't treat me as that person. So now that's a battle within a battle within a battle. And this is how abnormal behaviors begin to happen, because we're not aligned in that purpose of knowing what it is that we're supposed to get. So when the battle begins.
Craziest thing, man, no lie, this week, and I released my productive vibe session yesterday. I really had the same conversation. This is what causes people to stop being themselves. This is when they can no longer be themselves. This is when it's like really poorly executed. With the super ego, yeah, your ID was one thing. You added, the ego then grew you and groomed you. Now that you feel like this was the lane or what you was supposed to posture as,
right?
Now what level are you? How good are you? Who got the largest measuring stick?
Yep.
And then you just not yourself no more. Like you out there straight performing, and people think it's a real easy thing to just turn around and be yourself. No, you lost traction, and it has to be intentional work to get back to just being you. Like, what do you want to do? What's valuable for you, and what goes against your value? Because that super ego, it usually go against your value.
And we actually had a conversation about this off air before, where you mentioned about groups.
Okay.
How you can't get away from them. You know what I mean? There's always groups. There's groups within groups within groups within groups. You know what I'm saying? And you're always seeking to be the best in every group. So you have a group, and it's not major groups that people would even understand are groups, but there are groups. So you have like teachers. You know what I mean? So you got education. So boom, everybody's in education. So that's one group. But then within that, in that group, you got the principals together, you got the counselors together, you got the teachers together. You know what I'm saying? Boom. That's those are another set of groups. Now within those groups, you got the political race. Okay, so out of these groups, who's the Democrats and who's the Republicans? Boom. So now those are another set of groups. So then within those groups, it's the salary cap. Okay, so whose money is here and whose money is there? Boom. That's that group. So then the next group, who got kids? You know what I'm saying? Boom. That's a whole nother group. And then it's the next group. Let's go to the race, the generation. You know what I'm saying? You see how all these desires battle off your ego and your super ego? You know what I mean? Because it's too much for one person to try to balance out. But if you focus mainly on just that ID, because that ID is what you know what I mean? You have to look at what you can control and what you can't control. We can't control the ego sometimes.
And so your example of an ID is kind of just like what makes you, and it's not necessarily about gender versus just what makes you you. What are you sensitive to? What are you, what do you want to protect? What do you got? Like that is just your inner you, and it doesn't really. We put the label on it, so we put the the gender. We put the because it's trying to. We did a really good job mentally of trying to figure out what makes us different, so we can group. Like,
Right.
so we can put people in groups. Everything we ask questions about, we put it in group. Is it Chinese food? Is it American food? Is it Mexican food?
Right.
I mean, are they Nike glasses? Are they Lacoste? Are they, what I mean? Like everything comes into this grouping, like we just automatically try and divide. And then we look for the similarities within that group. And then how can we nick it down to one more level? I think a lot of it is we have to stop thinking in some of those labels, because when people step outside of what you think is the box, then it's foreign and it's rejected. And
Think-
people think that they got to turn around and get back into the to fitting into your box to keep going. No, you just keep
Exactly.
your own box. It's all good.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, think how
Plus,
much think how much popularity would not matter if everyone just focused on their own ID. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, and think about it in life like your own ID. Your ID says nothing that my ID says.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? If you want to go into that point of view, you know what I mean? So why not embrace the things that's on my ID instead of worrying about running to the DMV and saying, "Hey, can I get an organ donor stamp on my card?" Because I seen that everybody else got like, no, what's on your ID? Just embrace what's on your ID.
I
Embrace
said it
that
before.
service.
6 + 3 is 9, but so is 5 + 4. It don't gotta be one way. Like long as we can both get there. Hey,
Let's get
cool
there.
that you did it. Let's talk about how we both did it and see if it's another way to maximize it. Like how can we get to the next level, whatever it is. Like or just let's keep being innovative in general.
And
But I'm
you
with you.
know what's
Ego
funny?
will kill it. Ego will knock it down though.
If anybody out there that realistically like knows like me and you, we are prime examples of exactly what it is that we're speaking on.
Okay.
5 + 4 and 6 + 3. You know what I'm saying? Like the roles can be different, but the positions still align. You feel what I'm saying?
I do.
And that's what people have to understand. Just because you see what somebody else is doing doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take that same road that they're taking to get there. You know what I mean? You have to take the road that aligns with your ID.
Yeah.
That's the only way for you to get to where you're supposed to get to, because somebody else's road, you won't even be able to handle the problems that they handle. They got that road for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, you live with them. Probably listen. You lay down with them issues. So, and what's so funny is, and I was just thinking about this oddly, and it's probably not odd at all because I was about to talk to you, but I was just thinking about like I'd be scared to be in somebody else's shoes. Like I don't want to listen. I know what my life was like, so and not knowing your situation, I don't want to think about what life would be like dealing with it through that point. Like I am good. I just want my journey to be my journey, and I want to focus on what's in front of me. That's probably been the biggest change from a place when I wasn't happy at some point to my to date. Man, it's just changing what I took my time to focus on. It's the present for me. Like I have to be really focused on and in tuned on what's going on right now. What can I do right now? Like really being a part of the time, not just of it.
And then you got to think on your journey, you're going to have your problems, you're going to have your issues. So you can't get away from your journey regardless of what you want to do.
For real.
But then when you choose that ego lifestyle to want to live and be like somebody else,
Yeah. Posturing.
you know what I mean? Or you want to live or be up to what society expects people to be instead of doing what you need to do. Now you got to take on those problems as well.
Yeah.
And I almost see, I had to slow down when I was talking because my mind almost went into that Sunday morning thing. And I almost started to get up in there like, God don't put you in a position for no reason. You know what I'm saying? On your journey, that's your journey for a reason. That's your purpose for a reason.
That's
That's
100.
why when I'm gonna speak for myself in this situation.
Come on, let's run it.
When
I'm
when
already listening.
you get these, I have issues and problems that come my way now that seem like nothing. You know what I mean? To where through the lens of somebody else, it may seem like a selfish act, or I don't care, or I'm being hard on somebody or something like that, where it's not even that. But you don't know my situation. You don't know my journey. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know who I am. God places you in positions that way these problems don't seem that heavy to you because you've dealt with this already before. I've built you for this. I didn't build you for what somebody else is built for. That's why when you run to an issue where 9 times out of 10 you do something and you end up in a situation where you're in trouble, but you always find yourself saying, "Man, if I would have just went to cello practice. Man, if I would have just stayed at the school for basketball. Man, if I would have just went to Bible study with mama." You know what I mean? The things that you always do, that routine stuff, but then that one day you do something to get out of it so you can go do something you know you ain't supposed to be doing, then you get in trouble. So now you questioning why. Because that's not your issue. That's not your problem. Now that's too big for you to handle. So now you set back 2, 3 steps because now you got to try to figure out how to maneuver yourself through these situations, just to maneuver yourself out of these situations, just to get to your initial problem. That's easy. Don't dig a hole deeper for yourself when you already know it's a hole ready for you. That's stupid. If I know that when I'm walking, there's a hole there, why would I put water in it to just to disguise myself to not know it's there? Prepare for it.
Honestly, we have to be honest and tell ourselves that we are really not courageous. Like, we are not brave enough to tell our own story. We don't think people really want to hear it. So our insecurities, our fears, they talk us right out of that. Like, they
Right.
get us into a place where they get us, we're hyped thinking that, this is the way we want it to go. It doesn't feel good, but it looks good until it crashes or until you can't be consistent. And then when it's time to turn around, like, that's when shame, that's when, that pride, things step up that don't allow you to get back to being you. And we're going to have to do a really good job of being okay with just turning around. It's so much more easier to directly hit those kind of issues head on, because if not, we're going to get the pain of trying to steady, show up like not ourselves,
Right.
and have to turn around and take the road that we was less traveled but should have been traveled by us.
And
So you're right on, you on the money.
and then that's where the abnormal behavior. So abnormal behavior is something that can be defined as, it can be defined differently.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because what it's like I said, it's always about that perspective. It's always about that lens. It's always about the view that you have. You know what I mean? So what some people may allow may not be considered abnormal behavior to what some people don't allow. Hence to when you're growing up, how some people raise their kids. You know what I mean? Some people let their kids do things that some people are like, look, my mama would have never. So why would I ever? You feel what I mean? And this is what happens in society. You know what I mean? And this is where the battle, where people, because believe it or not, there are people out here who can look at somebody and they can tell them what their sense of purpose is. They just don't accept that. You know what I mean? They just won't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't see it for themselves yet. But when somebody's sitting here telling them, like, dude, this is what you should be doing, what you're not doing, and you're not doing it, this is why such and such and such and such is happening. Because you're displaying abnormal behaviors, because you're going against your ID. And I can see that you're going against your ID. That's the only thing that makes that behavior abnormal. Because if you see somebody for what they really are, then the behaviors that they do is never considered to be abnormal.
What's crazy is that's why both you and I really have job security as a coach. People don't all see it at the same time. People don't accept the process. They are looking for the outcome of something or someone else's, and they are never going to produce it. So as long as people need to understand that, hey, that there is a process, and this is how you think about it, and this is what society wants for you, but this is what you want, that is a hard question. Like, you and I talked about the Clubhouse app. I get on a Clubhouse app, and I told you about that panel. I'm on a panel for 12 hours. And really, I was just there as a content strategist. I
Right.
was there to talk to people about, how to organize their content, what to do, and how to move forward, with solid, robust content, whatever it is. The two questions that they had to answer before we had, about whoever was going to ask who a question, two questions they had to answer was, who were they and what do they do? That is one of the hardest questions for people to answer. They get up there and it's, I just got a little business, and I don't do much on YouTube. My like the words that you speak just proceed, the endeavor. And sometimes that is that ego too. That's like, it's not good yet. It's not right yet. It's not fixed yet. You know, people gonna say something about that, or people
Come on,
listen. People are gonna say something anyways. You got to do it like you. But there are people that need to hear that. There are people that need to understand that that message is there, so they can start hearing it at 30. They can start hearing it at 25. They can start hearing it at 15 versus waiting and trying to mimic what somebody else is doing.
When I dive into these conversations with people, I love to put titles on words, on characteristics, on traits. You know what I'm saying? And when we get into this conversation, first thing pop into my head is the power of authenticity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about when you're going to buy something, you want the real deal.
Yeah.
I don't want no knockoff. I don't want nothing fake. I don't want the rundown version. I don't even want the out of season style. I want what's now and what's new. And how many people in the world might not even like what it is, that the product that might have to be offered, but they buy it anyway just because it's what's trending. I like to look at myself as a product to the world.
Okay.
You are the best thing that you can sell to the world.
Yeah, you are the brand.
You know what I mean? You have to, it's a true statement when somebody tells you know your worth.
Right.
Know your value. What's your value? You know what I mean? Put a price tag on yourself in real life. When you put a price tag on yourself, you go until you get it.
Right.
You put a shirt out there and you say, okay, I'm gonna sell them for $20, but my goal is to one day have 5 different shirts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be putting different price tags on them. Okay. So then look at yourself and how can you create 5 different things that you can put different price tags on, and then your ultimate self be a price tag.
Right.
A lot of people don't look at themselves as the product. They look at themselves as yeah, because they're the customer. They're still giving to other products instead of putting themselves on the shelf. Put yourself on the shelf. Sometimes you might be at the bottom, but there's people that's out here looking for people that's at the bottom because they just can't afford them people at the top. And then that's when the people at the bottom start to become them people at the top.
Take it away.
Kraft didn't start on the top shelf at $2.39 for a box of macaroni and cheese. Didn't nobody know. But now what? Kraft got a football team, macaroni and cheese, packet. You feel what I'm saying? I'm always tell you to stop me when I'm wrong.
No, you see, I'm sitting back. This is when I get my stuff. I always tell people this is for me as well. So thank you. But you're not wrong. Like we have to understand our value. And really the realest thing I could have learned in this process is just do it. Just start. Everybody's story start with, you know what, one day I was like, why can't today be your one day I was? One day I was messing around with one day. Then I looked over and somebody told me one day I was looking at this could be the one day. You got to start it right now, because no matter where you are, we can always have a lack of something, a lack of resources, a lack of money, a lack of time. But if we start off with that mentality, everything that you wake up and you feel you don't have enough of, chances are you're going to go to sleep feeling like you ain't got enough of it too. So you got to really figure out what can you do with what you got. Like we got to stop thinking about what's going to happen 15 years down versus what's the very next play. What's the play today, so you can make sure tomorrow is even worth it. Like I seen a meme this week was like you a crazy person if you can wake up broke and continue to lay there. Like, yeah, you wild. Like if that don't get
hold on, and not only wake up broke and continue to lay there, but continue to think about it as well,
and be okay with the thought, like the feelings that you have behind knowing that. And I know a testament to anybody who feel like they broke and working really hard. That's not.
We're gonna stop right there. We ain't. I'm sorry. You sorry? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry to anybody that's out there that's feeling any kind of way right now, because at the end of the day, you know me, I got that faith behind me. Faith without works is dead. You can't sit up there and tell me you want to be a millionaire, but you ain't putting that right foot in front of the left foot to even take the steps to being a millionaire. So why should I feel sorry for you? That's just me. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
But and that's what a lot of people not doing. A lot of people just put something out there and then they expecting for everybody to just jump on it because they going behind. They trying to live off of what they recently did. You know what I mean? If you started,
you can pick the ones out the crowd that's working and the ones out the crowd that's faking. Like you can't fake consistency. There is no way
Oh
to
my
do it.
God,
Only way to fake consistency is to be consistent. So
see it. If people don't see it,
you
they
don't
don't
see it.
believe it.
Period.
And sometimes what you might define as consistent might not be what somebody else defined as consistent, because there's always growth and consistency.
And
So
it's
if you
usually
stay in the same spot for a few years with doing one thing, that means you weren't consistent with it, because there's no possible way to be consistent with something and it doesn't grow.
yeah.
And that's
100.
just that goes back into the conversations we have about life cycle. If you
And,
grab a seat,
and let's be clear, not that it doesn't grow. I apologize. I don't know if that was me. Not that it doesn't grow, but it doesn't grow you, because we're not saying it gets easier. We're saying you get better. So if something is not working, I know if you're consistent about it, you're growing to the point where I gotta trash this idea or not, or I gotta develop or change or upgrade to this to make it pop. Because you right 100%. Like if you consistent, something should be happening. Growth in you or growth in your product, your
look,
brand.
you look at farmers in the world today. They have the same thing. So they buy their foundation, they have their land, they buy their seeds.
Yeah.
All farmers don't grow the same thing. Is it by choice? Nope. Because if every farmer in the world can grow every crop that they wanted to, they would.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what ends up happening is they find what's for them. Like, no, I got a beastie field that grows corn. That's what I do. I can care less about watermelons and tomatoes and all that. You know what I'm saying? But then you also have some of those people that can grow and produce all these other different things. But what happened is that conversation rolled from what you were saying before about the seed. That's the consistency. You can't just plant the seed in the dirt and then put some water on it on day one, and then on maybe day 4, then maybe day 13, and then maybe day 25, and then you hope that it grow into a rose bush. It's not gonna happen.
It's
But
not.
if you get out there daily and you tending to it, you showing that you working for it, you actually believing in it, it's actually what you want. That's when you wake up and you
That's
realize you got a rose bush growing.
and really honestly, I feel like we can feel it. Like you get out of things exactly what you put in. You pick what you want. You really are in control of your stride. And don't get me wrong, we don't all have the same starting line. I'm not saying it's easy for everybody. We don't all have the same starting line. I know mine was really, really far behind. I grew up in 53206 Milwaukee bred. Like understand, like I there you can come from nothing. You can come from nothing. They didn't give you nothing. It wasn't nothing down there for you. You weren't supposed to really make it out, honestly. So the starting line is not the same, but you can show up every day with what you got, where you going, like, and really if you connect trying to service people with that, man, there's really no end for you. I don't care how you do it, whether it's by education, whether it's by skill, however you got to rock to get where you going, like it's your journey. And if you don't accept it, you listen, you're gonna have to keep starting over. And we know what happens at the end of those races.
Like you said, everybody's starting line is not the same. Even
Man,
on a track, everybody's starting line is not the same. But even at the end of the race, we should all be leveled out.
we should.
You know what I mean? Should all
And not
level out.
level out. We should all mirror where we are from our work, from our effort.
And then think about this also in that same sense, each one of those runners don't got the same technique.
No, it's all different. We
You
just
know what I
talked about
mean? Ain't no synchronization with the runs. No, everybody got their own training. Everybody got their own running style. Everybody got their own coaching. Everybody got their own dream. Everybody got a different goal to cross that line. Some people know that entering into this race, I know I'm not going to come in first place,
yeah.
but I'm in racing my own time. I got to make sure I'm trying to beat my own time. That's what I'm racing for. It's not about them. It's about me.
I think that's been the competition the whole time, and that's where ego is most misrepresented. Like and we all got an ego. Like I know what's gonna challenge me and gonna make me stand straight up. Like hold on, regardless of what the
Right.
outcome is. Like because there is sometimes you get to a place, but we have to be able to understand how to tame it at times. Like we have to be able to let go of things. I really do now understand. Like pick your battles. What deserves your energy? What deserves your time? Like some things just don't listen. You don't make the guest list. You can't get in. I don't have time for those thoughts. I can't pump my energy into that. And that's okay to do. Like when I start realizing that no is the answer and I don't have to explain, man, I almost felt like a weight is off my chest. Like I don't have to tell you why. It's just no. It's a no for me. And I think that is when you are starting to let your ego know, like, listen, I'll let you, rise and shine when it's time. And there are days when I get weak, and then you can start coming to pride anytime. But for the most part, like, having an understanding and what lens you're looking through and who can control what is dire important in the race.
Yeah, understanding that you are the who that can control what.
Yeah, you are.
Because most of the things that should be happening most of the things that are happening in your life should be things that are placed in your life under your control.
Right.
You know what I mean? You'll never get anything dealt in your life that you can't control. That's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're following a path that just doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, I was gone. I looked over at the time. I was gonna jump into a whole nother. I can't even. I don't even.
Ego.
Today it might be. We about. Oh my God, he fell out of it. Oh God.
So go ahead and hit me with the AC before your ego tear your ID down too much and our people don't know who we reaching for.
No, you know what, man? We're reaching for people who okay with their ID. Like, we looking for people who ain't looking for the fake ID. They ain't trying to enter into nowhere they ain't supposed to be in the first place. Like, we looking for people who want to come through and just really be themselves. The more you can connect with you, vibe with you, really rock with who you are is going to get you further in life. Like being you, understanding that, you can control what you control. We can't do anything with yesterday. We can't do anything with tomorrow. So we got to just be present and do something with today. So we're looking for people who are really okay with their ID and want to come and ride through in self-care. Because you know what is self-care Sunday?
Self-Care Sunday.
You know that. Oh, see, I need that button, man.
I know, man.
Crazy.
You knew that.
There you go. I forgot I had that. But yeah, as always, I like to thank you for rocking with the Tea Time podcast. I like to leave you with the acronym. That's peace. Positive energy always creates elevation. Peace, love, prosperity. And until next time.
Self-Care Sunday.
Out.
Hey, I'm here for the talk. Let's talk about it.
Bounce. Self-Care Sunday. We on bounce.